All right, so is MPW likely to outperform the wider market in 2026? Well, I think so, and I think so for a number of reasons. Let's talk about those, and let's talk about some of the latest news around this stock. It's getting harder and harder to do proper analysis these days, but starting off, we can see that the stock is starting to recover. It's up 30% just in capital gains for the latest year. It has also been paying a dividend of 8 cents a share here for some time. They increased it now recently to 9 cents a share every quarter. So this means that if we take a look at forward-looking dividend based on current yield, we can see that it's 6.9% roughly. So that's the current yield. So not only unrealized gains, but also gains in forms of dividend that we don't see on top of this stock chart. And I think that dividend is likely to increase in 2026 once again. And this is a result of the new tenants that has taken over hospitals for Prospect, for Steward, that they have a scheme of increasing rents. So they've been given some leeway, when they moved in, some discounts where they don't have to pay full rent, but this is scaling up now. So cash flow from operations is likely to increase here in 2026 if nothing unforeseen happens. So that's fantastic. That's one bullish sign. We also see that this stock historically has been quite shorted. It's been a favorite for short sellers with all of these troubles that was in the past. But we can see that short sellers have started to exit this stock. So as a percentage of float shorted, this has decreased from roughly 35% here in August of 2025 until at the end of the year here we see a measurement of 25% here at year end of 2025. So the amount of shares that are shorted, it has decreased by quite a bit, but we can see that the shorts are still in trouble here. The dollar volume sold short has actually increased, but this is just a result of the share price increasing in this case. But the percentage of the float is decreasing. We can see change from last period. It has almost always decreased with, a little exception here in year end in Q4 where we saw a increase. But other than that, we've seen decreases in the amount of shares sold short. So we're seeing full rents starting to be paid. We're seeing shorts starting to exit. And this is finally creating some momentum with this 30% gain that we've seen recently. Although if we zoom out a bit, we can see that the stock price is still down by quite a lot. I don't think it will recover to previous levels. This is unlikely because it's not the same company anymore that it was when stock price was very, very high. They have sold off some assets. We can see, and I just want to highlight here, there's no recent news, by the way. This one is published today on the 16th of January as I'm recording this. But if we go to source material here, news from MPW Investor Relations, and we take a look at, what's the latest here? We have the quarterly dividend increase that I covered in my latest video from 8 to 9 cents. That's the latest one. We have the third quarter results, which I actually, also covered. These are all the notable events. And then on September 29th, we see a portfolio update. And this is them selling off properties here. So sale proceeds expected, significantly reduce prospect dip loan, sold 2 facilities in Arizona to current operators for 50 million. All right, that's the latest property sale. That's a news on the company website. But simply Wall Street here, a lot of financial information these days. It's just AI written. I always take the time for you guys to go over the real source material. I don't do ChatGTP stuff and do summaries, but we can see here simply Wall Street, powerful screener, all right, and then this bullet point form here, just summarizing results and centered on its balance sheet, asset sales, and portfolio repositioning as the company works through a period of scrutiny of its hospital tenant base and funding structure. This context has kept investors focused on how. So this is just old news being regurgitated automatically, basically. This was the focus for a long time. But as of the latest quarterly earnings results, focus has shifted away from this and from just increasing rent on current tenants. The properties have been re-tenanted, and we saw this sale in the past as well. Focus now for this company is more on the debt wall that's coming in 2027. That's the biggest challenge, in my opinion, for Medical Properties Trust right now. So a bit of the old news here that's being published today, and then we see this ChatGTP style summary here. Result undervalued. It's nice that the discounted cash flow model that they did here is showing undervalued. I think that the results here don't really take into account how quickly the rents will scale for discounting these projections, giving a result slightly less than $7. I disagree with this. Garbage in, garbage out, basically. We know that management for the company will not get any bonuses if they don't get at least $7 a share as a result. That's why they've announced buybacks and stuff like this. So having a fair market value of $7 here is less than $7 here is extremely disappointing for management, and I'm sure that they will do whatever it takes to try to push stock price higher to be able to get those bonuses. There's a lot of money on the line and a lot of incentive to improve performance here and do so rapidly. You can hear the disappointment in Ed Aldag's voice if you listen to the earnings call. He does not sound too happy about the current situation and the current stock price. But for now, in my opinion, I think that sentiment is changing. We're seeing on a yearly basis that the stock is up 30%. We've seen a dividend increase, and hopefully this gets to be the last time on MPW where I get to say that, all right, now I think it's likely that the worst is behind them for this company. But as MPW proved once, never count them out. We saw one tenant being in trouble, and then shortly after another one as well. Just a double sandwich for that company. Extreme bad luck for those when I did my due diligence and my research, and I started buying this company at $3 something a share when I first started buying in, and continued to buy up on 4, and the most expensive price I paid was slightly above 5 in this case, but no longer buying any shares in this company, just holding the current position, roughly 10,000 shares in this case. Very happy with the dividend, even if they go sideways. I'm happy. just collecting 9 cents every quarter. That's a substantial amount. And if they do, what I predict, and increase dividend even further when they collect full rents, well, then that's going to cover my own rent. So yeah, which they kind of already do 1 month every quarter, but still they could cover more of the rent. You know how it is. Always gotta be a little bit greedy when it comes to investing. Anyways, that's been it covering MPW. There are no super fresh news, although as we go into 2026 here, I think since I have a substantial position in this stock, it's good to make a summary from time to time, and just for myself as well to be clear about what I want to see from this company going forward. Alright, that's been it for this video, and as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now, bye bye.